Is it a good idea? I'm joined here at the big table now by Kristina Marlen. Kristina is a sex worker herself. Kristina, I want to ask you, first of all, thanks for taking the time to come on the show. What's the best way to be introduced? Do you like the term sex worker or do you prefer prostitute? I mean, how do you identify yourself?
I identify as a sex worker because this empathizes that it's work. And so this should be like respected and valuated, that I do a kind of for the society, like for our communities, a very valuable work.
You know, a lot of people who are watching this show are watching in countries, cities, towns where prostitution is not legal. They think that there's a taboo with it, and they think that the people, the women who maybe are prostitutes, have come from terrible backgrounds and have daily lives that are terrible. Is that the case?
I think it's both. It's both the case. Like, I think we are like sex work. It's like there are also very various journalists, right? Like there are some who work with very precarious conditions, and some who have very good jobs and very like solid surroundings. And I think maybe it's a little bit different in sex work, as we are so like it's under such a big taboo and it's stigmatized. Mm-hmm. But still, we have a very broad range of working places also. So an escort has a like super different work than someone who works on the street or in the brothel, or so, yes.
What about the brothel, this association I mentioned earlier? They want a seal of approval to be issued, and they're saying that if brothels earn this seal of approval, then that will protect the sex workers, because you'll know that there's no human trafficking there. You'll know that the place is clean and hygienic. Is it needed, first of all? Is this seal of approval needed?
I think it's always good if sex workers themselves define what is good for them, like on their working places. That's why I would appreciate anything that, like, we define ourselves, what we need for feel safe and feel secure and having good working conditions. At the moment, I think the bigger problem is that the new law brought some restrictions, so that a lot of the brothels are affected by the fact that they are not allowed anymore in the areas they are.
The geographical areas, right?
Yes. I think this is the bigger problem at the moment. So I would hope that a seal of approval would help to make more acceptance and also show that our industry is actually something, as I said, like respectable and valuable. Mm-hmm. And that if you have a good working place, then this is like the work is not our problem. Mm-hmm. Like the sex is not the problem. The problem is poverty, or is like, it's human trafficking, or is patriarchy, or is sexual violence. Yeah. But there are laws against this already.
There are laws against that. And if you are working as a sex worker and you're paying your taxes and you're doing everything that's legal, do you feel relatively safe then?
Me personally? Yeah. Yes. I feel super safe.
Yeah,
but I'm also very resourced. Like in terms of, I'm privileged. I speak German language. I have like a lot of privileges.
Would you say that you are a typical sex worker?
I think there's nothing such as a typical sex worker. Like people come from all, like they are kind of, also they are not just women, so like there are also a lot of male sex workers.
Male escorts
they
out
are
there,
like maybe people who have families, like women who grow up their children alone, so they can afford this better than like working maybe 5 days in a shop or in
It's a way to make more fast money.
You can make faster money, so you have, or you're an artist, and this is the way how you finance actually your work, or like there are so many backgrounds how you can go into this work.
But you don't find yourself confronted with elements that a lot of people would not, such as human trafficking, organized crime, or someone using violence with you connected to your work.
Yeah, but I mean, to face human trafficking, you need so different ways, like pathways, to get this problem. Like, first of all, of course, it's a problem of like poor and rich in Europe, or like the problem that there's a like migrant movement, and also it's like this new law is clearly against migrants.
Kristina, I'm going to have to cut you off there because we're running out of time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But thank you. No, very interesting talk. Yeah, Kristina Marlen, a sex worker here in Berlin. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being on today.